Kindle all the great stuff. Now we're ready.
Good evening. Let's welcome to the Oklahoma City meeting of the Second Amendment Association. Let's stand for prayer and the pledge tonight. Lord, we're thankful for the country that you've given us. We're thankful for the freedoms that we have, for our officials that rightly govern. We pray, Lord, that you'll give them wisdom, direction. We pray, Lord, that we will not diminish our freedom and our liberty that you've given us, that we'll use it wisely. Bless now our meeting tonight. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
We've had a real good day. Did you guys know that? Okay, first Facebook Live. Start typing in where you're at. Walmart parking lot. I don't care. I want to know where you're at. We still good, Kendall? We're still up? Okay. Who's first time here? Give me some hands up. Oh, first time here. Roddy. Right here. All right. Murray State Gunsmithing School has showed up tonight. So Murray State's in the house. That's right. That's right. Appreciate you guys making the trip up here. Yeah, folks, come up front, right up here. You guys making the trip up here, and I'll try not to, be as exciting as one of your instructors. I'm just kidding, Rob. But Rob, I appreciate you dragging these guys down here too. Do they get tickets? Yeah, make sure they get some tickets back there.
Who doesn't have one?
Who doesn't have a ticket? Because we're going to do a drawing here. We do drawings. And I'm not like artwork, on the side of the building. It's drawing stuff. Okay, my name's Don Spencer. I'm the president of OK2A. And the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association sometimes is often mistaken as a gun group. But that's not exactly accurate. You guys know pretty much what I'm talking about. We're not a gun group. We are a liberty group. We just happen to know it may take guns to maintain that liberty. So tonight we've got a lot of stuff going on here. But today I had a little conversation with our governor, who signed another bill into law today at the request of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association. I want to thank Senator Bergstrom and State Representative Stiegel for carrying this bill. You guys, who here likes having felonies repealed? Yeah. I'm kind of into that too. In fact, this is the 8th one OK2A has worked on have felony repealed for the peaceful carry or ownership of a firearm. Can you believe that? We would actually have to have repeal of felonies for a Second Amendment right. So anyway, I want everyone to walk out of this store tonight, find a salesman and say, I want to know where the shock waves are because I want to look at one to buy. Yeah! I'm serious. Just go, TAC 14s, what are the other numbers? It's a TAC 13 also.
This is until November 1.
Yeah, but we can start getting some specials going here. I don't see why not. We could do that. But anyway, the Shockwave is this goofy looking thing. It looks like a shotgun, but it's classified as a firearm. And the guys that designed it, you got to love firearm guys, because it's like, okay, here's the rules. And then they stay just inside the rules with the TAC 14 self-defense shotgun. No, don't think you can take it hunting. It's not legal for hunting, but it's a wicked self-defense inside your home weapon. And as of November 1st, since it is a firearm, you will be able to carry it in a sling, holster, scabbard, or case.
Wow. They make semi-automatic too.
And they make the semi-automatic too. That's correct. So, if you like what you're hearing, if you're not a member of OK2A, I don't know what you're waiting on. And I want to thank a lot of you guys, because you guys have been doing the monthly recurring automated contribution, and that's a big help. Even if you've already joined, I see some of you guys are still doing that, and that's the kind of support we've got to have. So that's what's going on. Now, put on your calendars. Put on your calendars June the 1st. June the 1st, we're having an awards banquet. And I just happened to talk to this guy who's governor today and informed him that he's been informed through his office that this is taking place, and he's got an invitation to be there. He's not confirmed yet, but I want to make sure you have the opportunity to be at, and it'll be at Cattleman's at 6 o'clock, and that's a Saturday night.
Cattleman's?
Cattleman's. Yep. And they assured me there won't be any jockey marks on the steaks. Boy, rough crowd, rough crowd. Don't you hit my horse like that. No, but Cattleman's, but like I say, what's going to be good is we're going to have, like I say, we've got some legislators, and we've got one here tonight that have just done some awesome bang-up job for us, and we're not done yet, folks. We are not done yet. So we want to have them there, and like I say, I don't have the pricing on it yet. Folks, we're going to be paying for legislators' dinner. We're not going to let them pay for it. They've done so much for it, we're not doing it. So these tickets will probably run $100 a piece, okay, because you're going to be buying a legislator's dinner. If there's someone here that would like to help contribute to that, because we're going to have some people that are going to want to come that will not be financially able to do it. I want you to be prepared to help your neighbor, okay? But again, steak ain't cheap. And getting these people together and show them appreciation and pass out some awards is an evening that you definitely will want to be there. You'll be able to rub elbows with some pretty good folk, and I want you to make sure you take the opportunity. So just letting you know that's what's coming up and that's what's going on. All right, we'll have more information in emails, also on Facebook, also on Stones and Caves. For you guys that haven't picked up one of those two things yet, so. Oh, you got that, did you? Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, Stones in Caves. Yeah, that's right. Okay, any questions on that? Now,
Question, Don.
yes, sir.
I presume we've reserved it?
Yes.
Because they don't take
Yeah.
reservations.
Yeah, we're not going in there just, hey! No,
I've got a table for
yeah, no, we're not, we know that. Actually, Tim Gillespie, the chairman of the board of OK2A, is doing the arrangements for it. So he's got it under control. So anyway, and like I say, good steaks. We'll be there and have some good food and good time. So that's what's going on. Also, what's going on? Where did my list go here? On 4/23 next week, I forget what day of the week that is. What's that? The 23rd. What day of the week is that? Is that Tuesday? It's a week from today. I will be at the Oklahoma Watch Debate. I will be participating in it. So apparently, there's this little group you guys have heard me talk about called Moms Demand Some Action. They want to have a discussion. So I thought, okay, and actually the watch group, its debate group, is actually having it. So it'll be at the Oklahoma History Center at 6 p.m. I want you guys there. I want you guys there. I want you to be there. I want you to be polite. I don't care if someone steps on your foot, you tell them thank you. Because I assure you there's people that are trying to provoke us to do something that's what they do, and I've lived that quite a bit. So again, that's going to be next and we'll have some more stuff out on Facebook and on emails too, or back in the cave, right? Okay, we'll chisel that in the cave for you. So we'll have more information on that. But like I said, I'd like for you to be able to attend that, just because who knows, I may need bodyguards for it's over with. Because some people are really upset if you tell them the truth about stuff. So, and we'll listen to them. And like I said, I don't want to make it a big hearing, gisting thing. Like I say, we'll be there. We'll deliver facts. I think you guys have heard and seen me speak enough. There's nothing going to change here at all. In fact, I'll bring this up too. OK2A, you guys have heard of this, right? Who here deer hunts? Oh, look at all those arms. How would you like to have an extra 5 days of deer hunting a year? That doesn't suck either, does it? Right? Yeah. Added to the end of the existing deer season. Does it? You don't have any more. The limit is not picked up, but you have more days to hunt. Well, OK2A endorsed and supported a bill today, could do exactly that in the Senate, and Senator Bullard, who's going to be speaking in just a moment, also voted on that bill to add to it. It's still got to go back to the House for approval, but again, it's going to be, yeah, Sooner score, right? Yeah, all right. Whose kid is that anyway? So, that's right. So anyway, but so that's what's going on. And people say, well, we're just gun rights. We're just gun rights. No, it's a property right deal. I own property. And I'd rather shoot a deer out in my pasture because I'm tired of them across the hood of my car, for starters. Just for starters. And also, I'm kind of lazy. I hate shooting one early in the season. I like it cold because that way I can hang it out in my shed for a few days in December, and it just cures out so much better, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So, and I'm too lazy to throw one in the car or the truck and take it to the butcher shop to do that. So that's the way I look at it. Plus, like I say, we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to get a deer. An extra 5 days, make sure that takes place. So you wonder what else OK2A does? We help add to your deer. Now, I'll make sure you have the bill numbers. So because the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife hates this. But they hate us too, so there you go. So anyway, that shouldn't be too big of a surprise. But also last week we also got help get a bill passed. Who here hunts on public property? Once in a while, right? Well, we also helped pass a bill so you could hire a guide on public property, because you can already do it for fishing. So it makes sense, and also there's people that's an opportunity that they may not have, and they get a chance to go hunt on public property. And I don't know about you, I know people that would rather give somebody some money to take them to a spot where they improve their likability for whatever game they're hunting, and so that's a good opportunity for that too. So that was another one we pushed last week. And then, like I say, we got Senate Bill 24 passed today. Let's see. All right, what else we've got going here? Is that all I got on that? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so what else we've got going here? Now, you guys have heard, and I've been calling it this just because sometimes it sounds prettier, the Enhanced Student Protection Act. Because if you give it a good name, it's better, right? Oh no, not Teacher Carey, but the Student Enhanced Student Protection Act. How can you not support to protect students? So anyway, but we've got, as we've gotten closer to getting House Bill 2336 closer to the governor's desk, it's got to go to a vote of the Senate floor. And so there's already challenges up against it. Moms Demand Some Action are pushing against this. The emails are going out against it. And I know some of you guys have been to some emailing and calling. Folks, can't let up. We got to protect our kids. We know doing nothing, we've seen the result of that. We know what that no-gun zone looks like and what the carnage can take place in it. And that is completely unacceptable. Now, I'm able to pick up KRMG radio in the mornings. And just the other morning, Monday morning, KRMG says the bill, any teacher can carry. No. It's first there has to be a board approval. If the board doesn't approve, nothing changes. So the board has to approve it. And then it's just like, and I've used this before, a school bus driver. They don't let anybody just drive the school bus. First off, you got to be qualified. You got to have a license for it. And then I'm a school bus driver because I know I've got a license that they take you out to see if you can drive. And then every year you got to go back out and they want to see if your habits are still good or if you've gone soft on it. And it won't be anything different than with the firearm, with the handgun. And the fact is, and they hate it when they hear this, private schools have been doing this for 6 years. Heard any problems? No. And you know those signs out in front of a school that says no guns? Or you got one that says, our teachers are carrying, you come here to harm anybody, you will be met with deadly force. Even crazy people, this can be a deterrent to them. Even because they're still going to go find, they're lazy, they're going to go find something else with that. And so I think that this is a good indicator. Did you have a question? Or, okay, you do? Okay, what's your question?
I have thought that we've had this right in schools for several years, not just private.
Well, I'm glad you came tonight, because you know what?
I know that Luther Public Schools.
Right, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
Because OK2A in 2015 worked to get a bill passed, and the teacher, still with the school board approval, has to be literally a cop, a commissioned officer, or a licensed armed security officer, which takes 72 hours of classroom and training. Now, I'm a licensed armed security officer. The first 40 hours is a joke. It's for a mall cop, which has no application inside of a school. So the only real training that takes place is the second 32 hours, which is a phase 4. You spend 8 hours in a classroom and then 24 hours on the range. There you actually get some real training. And there's nothing like paying for the class and having some guy yelling in my ear and thinking, God, I paid for this? You know, so it's like that. So yes, sir, currently it is, but the bar is pretty high. And out in these schools in southwest Oklahoma and northwest Oklahoma who have a response time of 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes from the law enforcement, who have no help, they can't afford to send teachers in for 2 weeks to do this, and the expense on it. So the bottom line is, just like the public schools, the bill says that the Board of Education can approve it, and it says, and meet other requirements. And so far what we have seen, just like in Luther schools, they've got a working relationship with their local law enforcement. So if something happens, they've already got something together, what they're supposed to do, and a plan. So you won't see anything different with these, because I assure you the county sheriffs and the local law enforcement are going to make sure they're working together with this. And all the school board has to say is, okay, we're not going to let this teacher carry until our sheriff says he's ready or she's ready. That's a pretty easy requirement right there. So there can be things just like that. So yes, it does exist, but the requirement for a person, and like I say, OK2A, your money, your dues that you've been paying in has been paying for signs at schools that says, you know, you come on this property to harm somebody, you're going to be met with deadly force. And so that's what part of your membership has gone to. So I hope that answers your question for you there. Okay, let's do this. Now, on the Senate bill, or House Bill 2336, like I said, we're getting pushback on it. Legislators are getting pushback on it because a lot of it is out of state, because the Moms Demand Action has the money with the Bloomberg money to do automated stuff going in there. And so a lot of the EAs that I talk to can tell if it's an out-of-state call when it pops up or not. But again, they've got local people that'll be up there, and they're going to be walking the halls next week or as soon as this bill gets heard. And by the way, for people that gripe about the National Rifle Association, I got a letter of endorsement from it today for the bill. They will be grading the bill just like we will be. So for people that say, oh, they don't, no, folks, they're right in here in this fight with us. All right, I'll make sure that's perfectly clear. So again, and that's what's going on. Now, for us to get to this point, you've got to have a legislator that's ready to take on education. Because that mindset we've seen in education, unfortunately, has been, oh no, guns are bad, guns are bad. But the really, really, really cool thing is when you've got a legislator who's been a teacher and knows, and it's great, I tell you, it's great to actually walk into that Capitol and not have to educate a new legislator, but a legislator that knows what a constitution is, and those words aren't just ink on a paper. And that's exactly what we got here, and with Senator Bullard, who's going to be here tonight to speak to you for a few minutes. So folks, again, this stuff doesn't happen. We endorsed Senator Bullard. We're cultivating when working with the best of the best, and that's why we're getting the results we are this year. But folks, we are not across the finish line with this bill. We cannot let up. Just because you got constitutional carry, don't think you can sit back on your heels, because they're going to try to come and take it away. And if you don't think so, you come next Tuesday night and listen to these whiners. If you want to talk about it then. So again, at this point, State Senator Bullard is right here. I want you to come up here, sir, and I want you to introduce yourself real quick.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Let me start by doing this. Thank you for what you're doing, because even on this bill that he's talking about, your emails are making a difference. So it's not just on even this bill, though. On a lot of the bills that we hear and talk about, your voice matters. So when you email, when you call, when you talk to people, it makes a big difference. Let me give you a little bit of background information on me. I'm from Durant, Oklahoma, not Durant. I knew it was coming. Somebody was going to say heavy on the do. Taught for 15 years. I taught AP U.S. History, AP Government. You live in the greatest nation ever created on God's green earth.
Amen.
Yep.
I had the privilege to teach the second greatest document ever created in human history, right next to the Bible. Our Constitution is fantastic for multiple reasons. And I enjoyed teaching that at so many levels to those kids, but let me tell you my favorite part. It's when I got to get to the Bill of Rights. Because in my classroom, we had the Bill of Rights memorized, all 27 of them, before we left my classroom. Now, I always love getting to the part about where do your rights come from? Are they granted to you by some benevolent government? No. It's always easy to answer that question by quoting Thomas Jefferson. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Your rights come from God.
That's right.
They do not come from a benevolent government. We have a Second Amendment to make sure that those rights are kept. So when we start looking at what are we going to do with the Second Amendment, the trend over the last several years in our country, and even in this state, Oklahoma, the reddest of the red, has been to close the gap on your Second Amendment rights. Lots of them. What we've been working on over these last several years is to expand those rights back out to their true meaning as established by the founders in that Constitution. And so we're working hard for it. This bill that we're writing right now is very near and dear to my heart because I saw it. Even in schools that have resource officers, guess who's target number one?
Right.
So once that target's gone, our kids have zero defense. And so this is very passionate to me because I could walk up to my kids in my classroom and I could talk to them. We had 2 resource officers in the school that I was at. And I would ask them, at 8 a.m., where will both of them be? And they could tell me their exact location in the morning. At lunch, where will they be? They could tell me the exact location of those 2 resources officers at lunch. At school letting out, when you'd have them all to yourself, I would ask them, where are those 2 resources officers going to be? And they could tell you their exact location. If kids can figure that out, somebody who wants to kill those kids is for sure going to figure that out. My passion has been I do not want to see Oklahoma be the next school on the national news that said our kids were killed because we were unwilling to do what is right and constitutional to make sure those kids are protected.
That's right. Yep.
Now, let's get beyond the emotional side of this argument. This is a right. You and I have a right as an individual to protect ourselves and our kids. So for me, this goes beyond just the emotional plea to say, let's protect our kids. Let's get back to a constitutional understanding of an institution. We have a responsibility to uphold that Constitution and to uphold that right. And so we're going to do that here. This bill is meeting a lot of fierce resistance. I will tell you that. Moms Demand Action. 2 weekends ago, I looked at my email and it had 143 emails on it. And I went, whoa, who messed up? And I read it. Oh, it's me. An hour later, there were another 100. By the end of the day, I had looked at over 400 emails, and I called Dawn and I said, oh, we might need to do some work here. So we talked about it. The fascinating thing is 96, I kept tally on them. I'm that boring. 96% of them came from schools, 98% of them came from schools that already have a resource officer. 96% of them came from urban areas who could have a resource officer if they chose. So we're looking at a small group of people trying to tell the rest of us we don't want it. The reality is that my schools are demanding this because they know what the others are unwilling to look at. Is that if you put the gun in the hand of a teacher, well, let me put it to you this way. Mass shootings are over in less than 5 minutes. So even if you have a resource officer who's on the other end of a big campus, you have mass carnage until that resource officer can get there. So this is vital for all of them to understand. Now, as Don said, the bill is great in several ways. Number one, you have to have the handgun license. Number two, this lets the school boards decide who's going to be able to carry and what requirements they're going to put on them. Now, I've talked to my schools about it, especially those that are ecstatic about this. And what they've told me is we have to train right now with law enforcement for these kinds of situations anyways. So all they're going to do is bring in their teachers that are going to be carrying on the campus and say, here's your training. We're going to train you right alongside with us. This is better than CLEAT. CLEAT doesn't do what this is fixing to start to get the schools doing. Because right now what's happening is if you go to CLEAT, they're going to train you in a generic way. They're not going to train you to work with that specific school layout and the law enforcement that are going to be working there. So this bill is actually better than CLEAT because you're going to get the specific detailed training that you need. I had one of them in committee. I had one of the debates that came up against me in committee said, we don't need this. There's only 12 schools in the state that are utilizing it. And I brought the point back to them. Don't you see that as a problem? You have 500 and what school districts? And only 12 of them are utilizing it. That means we have way too many kids that are unprotected. So this is a good bill. Let me give you a plan of action on what we can do on this bill. We've been working on the vote. I've been whipping this vote nonstop. I should have lost 2 pounds today going up and downstairs. I hope.
Oh, you did. You did. I saw it.
Let me tell you, legislation is not a diet. We need you. There are still some who are sitting on the edge. They're telling me yes, but they're just kind of. So what we need you to do is exactly what Don said. Be polite. That's the number one rule. Because most of the time when we get emails from other people, it's the opposition usually tries to call us names and ignorant and everything else. Be polite. But I can tell you right now, the number one thing that would help me, you've been sending the emails and that's good. Phone calls will do what 10 emails will do. So a phone call to some of these legislators, and we can get you some names if we need to later on about who these are that you need to talk to. But a good phone call would go a long ways right about now as we start working this up. Within leadership, it would be also helpful if you could call some of the leadership and just ask them politely, would you please put this bill up? My schools deserve to be protected. Now, that's not the only bill we've got. Don and I have been scheming on Second Amendment bills all year long. Can you imagine? So we've got a lot more bills coming up. I'm running another SJR next year that we buried this year on purpose because of the constitutional carry. I didn't want to muddy the water on that, and it won't be heard till next year anyways. So we're going to strengthen the language of our own Constitution to protect against our own Supreme Court. That's a big one to me. That one is huge. We are at jeopardy right now with the language of our Second Amendment equivalent here is in bad shape. We're going to work hard on that one next year to get that one right. There's a lot of different ones with first responder carry. That's one that's been near and dear to my heart, letting our first responders carry as well.
You also did capital carry.
Yeah, I did capital carry. I'm going to do that one again. That one was fun. So I'm excited about it, guys. We are making progress. This is my first year up there, so I've learned my hard lumps, and I'm getting better as we go. So, Don, if it's okay, I just open it up for questions.
Sure, go right ahead.
The venue that this is at, is it legal to carry that?
Say that one more time.
The venue, the Oklahoma Ministry Center, is it legal to carry that?
I know as an instructor, I would never tell you to break the law, but I do not know of any being checked for firearms going in the building. So, yeah. You had a question, sir?
Other than the NRA, has the GOA also taken up our fight as well?
GOA gets on board every time I ask them, but like I say, when we talk about being in a dogfight, sometimes I don't get a chance to, but GOA will definitely be on board. I just got to notify them to do it.
I know as a private investigator, when I walk in the door, I have to go to the right and sign in.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I don't know.
Oh, at the History Center?
Yeah, at the History Center. Have you been over there?
Yes. Yeah, you do have to go check in over there somewhere.
Okay.
There's a couple of police officers.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll play that out.
That might be
Alex. Oh,
What about future efforts to set things up so that the governor actually gets to pick state Supreme Court judges rather than allowing left-wing groups like the American Bar Association pick them.
Now, have you ever heard of an educated group like this realizing that the problem is the courts and not the
The
legislators?
American Bar Association gets to tell the governor he can pick
Who they're going to pick.
Right.
No, there is some legislation that's floated around out there. I've talked with Nathan Dom and I are talking about running a bill next year that would bring us more to a federal model on our judiciary, because right now your Supreme Court does not reflect its citizenship. Correct. And so that it shows a very distinct problem, because by now it should have. So Nathan and I have talked about it, running that bill next year. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bill number.
On the teacher carry?
Yes. Oh, teacher carry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
House
Pardon me.
Bill-
Enhanced Student Protection Act.
House Bill 2336, changing the state constitution so your rights shall not be infringed, is SJR 16. And I just went blank on the capital carry bill, but don't worry, we'll get on that next year. Yes, sir.
About in the Enhanced Student Protection Act, have you reached out to any of your sister organizations across the states to see if they can implement that bill into their states as well?
That's a very good question. We're fortunate enough that in Oklahoma, we actually have, of all states, like Texas and some other states, watching what we're doing. But this is one we're actually following Texas. Texas has had this for about 8 or 9 years.
There's 24 other states that have some form of teacher carry similar to this. Florida is hearing legislation right now that's very similar to this bill. And what that ought to show you is Florida learned their lesson the hard way. I don't want Oklahoma to learn it that way. Florida has looked at their situation and said a teacher with a gun is better than a chair.
Right.
I mean, my first year teaching, it dawned on me very fast that we had no resource officer at that time. And it dawned on me very fast that if somebody came in with a gun, I had nothing. So I brought a baseball bat and put it beside my desk, which I thought about using in other ways throughout the year. But I never did. But, yeah. I asked one of the principals about what do I do in case of a shooting, because they just shoot the lock in and they're in, and they've got all of my kids are there. And they said, throw a chair at them.
What happened to urinating on them?
Yeah. Yeah, I said, well, I got a baseball bat, but have you ever heard about bringing a knife to a gunfight? You're telling me to bring a chair to a gunfight? It just doesn't make any sense. So it's, it's going to be a good deal.
Any other questions? Back there in the back.
Yes, sir, I got two things. When we contact our legislators, like for me, I've got a cell phone number that's got an out-of-state area code. That, you know, 'cause I just kept the phone number.
Right.
I've heard a lot of times when I call up, they say, well, where are you from? And then I have to explain about the whole area code thing. It's a cell phone. How do we combat that?
Okay, this is how, let me answer one at a time. This is how you combat that, is just as soon as they answer the phone, you say, I am a constituent. That means that you're trying to speak to who exactly represents you. Then if they want to follow up and ask, where are you from? Tell them where you're at, tell them your zip code, and she's got it right there. She knows the zip codes. She'll verify that, you know, you got a good story or you're a good actor, one of the two. So what was the second part of it?
And two, when we email, do you have any tips on how to be more effective
Yes.
and concise?
Right now, you put in that subject line, yes on HB 2336. Because if they do nothing else and they see that subject line, that's it. Never, ever go more than whatever fits in the screen. I keep it to 2 or 3 lines. If you get right to it, it might get read. It might get read. But the main thing is the subject line, yes for this or no for that, but everything we're at is on yeses. Yes, sir.
I had a question for the center.
Sure.
Does the language require the board to approve concealed carry for teachers or open carry?
It doesn't specify either one. So
And there's a reason for that, is that we've yet to have a school open carry. In fact, there's even law that protects that they do not have to disclose who the teacher is that's carrying, and the school is protected by law from not having to.
that was one of the first
disclose
things we checked into, is to make sure that they don't become a political target and a
Right.
hit target. So the schools can go into executive session and vote the specific person in executive session, and they just come out and vote in a person without naming them in to concealed carry. So that's already in statute now.
Can they have more than one teacher?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Alex, we
Last
usually charge Alex by the question.
One thing that I'm concerned about is probably the biggest one, that I think is one of the biggest pieces of legislation that the gun control lobby has been pushing across the United States has been red flag laws, where they're allowed to seize guns without any due process. And in some states, they're even pushing legislation that allows them to destroy them before you even go to court. And you're not even charged with a crime, you're simply charged with an accusation that you might be a threat to yourself and others, and you have to go in court and prove that you're not a threat to yourself and others, which is physically possible. What I'm curious about is, now that I've seen on some of these gun control websites, they're actually encouraging people to SWAT gun owners.
Yes.
Call in
Yes.
saying that they're pointing, call in, say that they are a threat to themselves and others, even when they're not. Is there any way we could introduce something with like hate crime legislation here? Because they are intentionally trying to get people killed.
Let you do that one.
And have them stripped of their rights. I mean, if that's not a hate crime, I don't know what
They've
is.
already done it.
In Oklahoma?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's swatting it's like swatting light, but it's swatting.
legal swatting.
Yeah, but it's still swatting. And here's the deal: you're walking out in the park or the street or whatever, and someone sees you're carrying a gun. They make the phone call, and all they've got to do is say, "Well, oh, I thought he was pointing the gun at me." And your prosecution can't do anything unless they're stupid enough to admit that they were lying, which is not going to happen. So it is going to be an issue. In fact, what we're going to do is our U.S. Law Shield, Robert Robles, we're going to have him come in and speak directly about this, and we're going to do it in the fall before constitutional carry goes into effect, and speak directly to that because he's preparing what to do with it also, because it is an issue. You're right. And especially since they said that's exactly what we're going to do, and now they're doing it. Yes, sir. I charge you by the question too. Go ahead. It's all right. Go ahead.
Alright, so other than armed teachers, is there any way you can introduce legislation for teachers who are willing to have unarmed defense for students? Or for teachers who
Like a
are
chair?
not liable to have arms?
Unarmed defense.
Like
Well, the only way you're going to kill a perpetrator is if they die laughing at you. So I don't know what unarmed defense.
It's a chair.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, we used to go by the wasp spray can. So anyway, yes, sir.
I've got two questions. Now,
Well, one at a time. That's all I can do.
The 2336 enhancement student protection, when is that going to be up for vote?
Don't know yet. That's going to be part of the trick. That's why I told you to contact leadership, because we need them to get it assigned, and that's where the gentle nudges, just very polite, just asking them to please have that bill heard.
Senator Treat, Senator David. Those are the two we would like you just to make those nice calls into.
It's still in committee?
No, it's ready to go on the floor.
It
It's
passed
just gotta
out of
be
committee.
scheduled.
Or stop by their office, politely ask.
That would go a lot farther.
Question number 2.
Yeah, the training for the teachers, will that be just covered under the license, security stage 4, or
No,
will it be more?
This bill is a basic SDA license, and then any other requirements that the school board mandates.
Yeah.
So the school board is going to say, we want you to work the law enforcement. When they say they're good with it, then we're good with it, and then they can bless it. That's usually what you're going to see take place. And the funny thing is, it's already happening with, if there's a person that's already a law enforcement officer teaching, they're still doing the exact same thing. If someone's an armed security guard, they're still doing the same thing. So they're not going to do anything different if a person was basic SDA license. Do you have a question? Okay, no? Yes, sir.
So we talked about teachers. Is this bill going to cover all staff?
Yes, it's personnel.
All personnel,
Yeah. Yes, sir, in the back.
I think that guy was before me.
Oh, well, I don't like him. he bought me dinner. He knows all. What do you got?
If it's up to the board to decide who can carry, can the board say we don't want anybody to carry?
Yeah, absolutely. Or if they do nothing, that is the law. And they can legally say, you can, you can't, you can, you can't. They can do all that stuff. Yes, Mr. Berry.
Okay, I've got 2 questions online.
Okay.
First question is, will this allow for the possession of a long gun somewhere on the campus?
Because I think we wrote it as a handgun.
handgun.
It's a handgun for now, but that will be sometime we will look at that.
Okay, and then the second question is, will it go into effect as soon as it's signed? Or what will be?
Well, don't we ask good questions? Here's what
Should
we
be
got.
November 1st.
November 1st, but here's what I'm going to request, and I hate getting ahead of myself, but you guys are asking such good questions. When we get it passed out of the Senate and the governor signs it, I think what we're going to do is request the governor do an executive order to put it in effectively immediately.
That's the third question.
That's what we're going to ask. But don't get ahead of us. Don't get ahead of us, folks. We got to get it off that Senate floor. Just focus on that Senate floor. Yes, sir, in the back there. Yes, Mr. Hurd.
Because they didn't do that on the emergency, being able to buy beer on the golf course here recently.
Well, since I haven't been on the golf course or buying beer on the golf course, I'm not familiar with the bill, but I'm sure the bill's got a head on it somewhere, right? Yeah, the back. Yeah. Rob. Yes, sir.
Me?
Yes, sir.
I came without a pen, and I'm old, and so the memory's not strong. Can you send out an email to membership?
Are you a member?
Yes, I am.
You will be getting an email.
Okay, as to who the leadership is and the nomenclature on the bill?
Are you on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make sure they're up tonight on Facebook, and then we'll get an email out. We'll try to get an email out for you tomorrow.
Second question.
Okay?
If both my senator and rep are left-wing liberals, am I urinating up a rope?
Hang on here. Who are they? Who are they?
Carrie and Cindy Munson.
You're never wasting your time talking to them. They need to know you're out there. Even if they completely disagree, you need to know Cindy Munson is in a very vulnerable district. Hicks, well, of course, it's hard to tell Hicks from a yin. I mean, so actually, I've been met with Senator Hicks last week. Good conversation with her. No, she's not going to support it. But folks, just a gentle nudges, because even if they don't support this one, there's going to be something down the line because you're nice and polite and sincere and persistent. You might get them nudged in your direction on something. You never know. So no, you're not completely wasting your time. Yeah, Rob.
Will the bill apply to both Tom and Ed, grade school, high school, and also colleges?
No, it only applies to elementary and secondary schools.
Well,
You college guys can't be trusted. You know that. You're 18 years old. You can go fight for your country, but don't you even think about walking on that territory, that precious territory of a college campus. You guys can't be trusted. Yeah.
Alright, so other than the obvious handguns, would this also apply to like AR pistols, AK pistols, or rifles?
Goes to the school board. It goes to the school board. If the school board says, you know what? We don't have a problem with the principal or the superintendent having an AR-15 pistol in his desk because it's out of sight, nobody sees it unless he needs it. I got no heartburn with that at all, and yes, that would actually be possible. Yes, ma'am.
I just was wondering, so when the teachers go out to get the license, who pays for it? Do the teachers have to pay out of pocket?
Most of them already have it because.
I'm not sure. I live in West Virginia. I'm just kind of wondering.
No, that's what, most of them already have it. OK2A, a number of years ago, when we were doing private school teachers and got them where they could carry, we provided a class at no charge to get as many private school people in to get them on that. It's not difficult to come up with an SDA instructor license to acquire that, and then, like I say, they're going to put you in the right direction with your school board and all that stuff. So yeah, it's not that too tough of a deal.
Okay.
About $200 to acquire it. It's about $200 to acquire it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, online question is how long can SB 2336 be in the Senate?
Next week is deadline week, so that you would have to be heard by Thursday of next week.
Good question. So see, folks, that's the time frame we're working under. Yes, sir, in the back.
Any effort to allow students carry on campus?
Oh, that's a great question. It's amazing you start talking guns and campuses and I want to tell you something that might shock you. Students want this, but they're so afraid to say a word about it, that they'll be convicted. Now, here's what OK2A continues to do. Senate Bill 361. Write it down. This is important. I forgot to tell you about it earlier. Senate Bill 361 is going to be heard in the House. What the bill is it protects free speech on a college campus, because we've known what's going on, and all it needs to do is get passed in the House and goes to the governor's desk. It protects and even puts penalties, civil penalties against the university and any individual that infringes upon the free speech rights of any person, that they can get a remedy for it.
I'll tell you, on the House side, though, that one is being debated hard. So if you want to do some more emails,
Right.
now would be the good time, because that one's getting debated very hard. So they need to know, they need to hear your voice to hear you're behind it.
OK2A endorsed this bill just as soon as I heard about it. We made sure, because it's free speech, and a lot of people say, oh, you guys are just a gun group. You guys are just a gun group. No, we're a liberty group. And your free speech is just pretty darn close to right there with you being able to maintain your firearms. So that's where we look at it. Yes, Mr.
I
Hart.
heard something about when teachers want to take a day off to protest or go to the Capitol or strike or whatever. I understand there's some legislation that's being proposed that will.
There was, but it never got heard that I know of.
And guess who lobbied against it with whose tax dollars? Yeah, and your tax dollars are being used against you on that. So isn't that great how that works? Don't you feel good? Hey, you college guys that aren't paying taxes yet, just wait. Just wait. Yeah, just wait. Any other questions? Well, Senator, thank you very much for your time and being here and working with us. I tell you what, this guy, he makes doing this, what I do, a lot easier, because like I said, when you get some people that are just halfway committed, and you got people that are all the way in committed, it just makes a huge difference in our success at OK2A. Now again, you guys remember me through the years. I've told you, if you get one gun bill on the governor's desk, it's a good year. It's a good year. We've gotten 2 on there, 2 of them signed. So we're going from a good year to a really good year, but we need to get to the great year category with this teacher carry bill. And like I say, just as the senator just told you how important it is, just a phone call. You know, just into these, go down the list, even if they're Democrats, which, by the way, we have a Democrat that's on board with this bill. So it's a bipartisan bill. It's great to see. And I want to thank, in fact, I'm going to mention Senator Dossett out of Owasso, who's a Democrat. He's been strong this year voting for Second Amendment rights. And like I say, I don't care if there's an R beside your name or an I or a W or whatever's beside there. If you're holding up the Constitution, we're on board with you. And that's for sure. Now, let me go over one other thing that happened last week. Maybe you guys may have noticed this on Facebook. We were supposed to have a feral hog bill. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of head shaking on that. We're supposed to have a feral hog bill that we were promised was going to be transferred out of the Ag Committee and go into the Wildlife Committee. And since the Wildlife chair, who's Representative McDougal, is the chair of the committee, he was putting in his committee to run the bill. Representative Curbs stated, and I have the email, in case anyone's wondering out there, legislators, I have the email where Representative Curbs said he would transfer the bill. Now, we would have put pressure on him last week if he'd have said, no, I'm not doing it, and we would have gone that. But since he stalled past the time that you can transfer the bill and get it heard, he was successful this, and obviously he's doing it for the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, because that's who he's protecting here. He's not protecting your rights. And you guys in Shawnee, he didn't protect your rights either. It's your dirt. You should be able to protect and kill them 300-pound rats whenever you want and not ask anybody about it. It's the way it is, just period. And which, by the way, there was a lobbyist came up to me today. This is funny. I'm not going to say his name. Came up to me today and said, you know what, we're okay with that, with game wardens being able to protect the property. I said, great, just ask them on your property, but I don't want them on mine till I ask them. It's my dirt. And I said, by the way, we got constitutional carry passed, so you don't have to ask for permission to carry a gun, but he wants to make sure we have to maintain asking permission to use the gun against the 300-pound rats that are tearing up our property. So it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So I don't know what other motive it is other than just to be friended up to the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, who uses your public dollars, which is your licenses, your fees and stuff, to hire the lobbyist, the liaison, to go up there and lobby against your rights. So, Representative Curbs, sir, you can fix this. Next year we can hear the bill. You need to agree to hear it. But like I say, we made sure it was public because these guys think that no one's watching. No one's watching. Well, we're watching. We're going to keep an eye on it. And you said you would do one thing and you did another, and the people of your district are going to know. And we're going to make sure you're reminded about it when it comes election time. I don't give a rat's rectum whether you're a Democrat or Republican. You're going to keep your word. And I'll tell you, leadership will tell you in a minute. If you're in that state capitol dome, you don't keep your word, you're worthless. You're worthless to leadership. So, over the weekend when we let this information out, there's legislators that are upset with me. Yeah, there's legislators upset with me, and you shouldn't do that to a Republican. Well, you should see what we do to Democrats on some of it too. But like I say, it doesn't matter. You got to keep your word. You have to keep your word, and he didn't do it. So if you don't like it, find another job. Period. And there's plenty of people that will take that job and would probably keep their word. You had a question, sir?
Yes. I'm kind of nitty here, and it doesn't make sense to me that the Department of Wildlife is against hunting.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
The Department of Wildlife, one of the commissioners, who's going to be a former commissioner soon, threatened me personally because I want to make sure my property rights are my property rights and not the state's. He also requested, and you guys wonder, well, how come we don't publish a list of OK2A members? Because the game wardens wanted it. So you guys wonder why we try to keep things hush-hush. I'm protecting you. And if you go out hunting, if you don't have U.S. Law Shield and the game warden portion where it protects you if you have to deal with the game warden, you're nuts. You're nuts. And if you've got an OK2A sticker on the back of your truck and you're out in some field hunting, dude, you're marked. You are marked. You're marked. And they're not shy about it either, because we've got evidence from Facebook and other stuff where the game wardens are going there and say, we want their names. We want a list of the donors for OK2A. So you feel better? Wow. And you wonder why I wear one of these? Yeah. So thank you very much.
My question is,
yes.
Why is the Wildlife Department against?
Got you. Ready?
Money?
It's power. They do not want to give up power. And even though that 300-pound rat is tearing up your property, they still want you to ask for permission before you can use your weapon. They'll say, "Oh, it's just an app. All you got to do is make a phone call." No, if I don't, and it's like my conversation today with the lobbyist. So if I don't make that phone call, and he shows up on my property because I'm shooting a feral hog or an armadillo that's digging up my yard or whatever, or even if I have to down one of my livestock, he comes on my property and creates a confrontation with me in the middle of the night. I've done nothing wrong, and he is the one creating the confrontation. And so, as a matter of safety, he needs to stay off my property until I say he can come on. If people say, well, I've got deer feeders out there, I want him on. That's your property. Go do what you want. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. But not on. And here's the other deal: sheriff's not coming on my property unless there's a reason, or he's got a warrant, or got my permission, and we're good. And he knows that. The police aren't going to do it, and so on. Can you imagine this? Who here lives in town? You got the backyard, right? You're mowing the backyard. Can you imagine a police officer jumping over your fence, coming into your backyard, making sure that's your lawnmower and that's your property, because he has a duty to do that? No? Is there something you got a problem with that? Is there a problem with that? Yeah, Rob.
Wardens are appointed, right? Hired or appointed. They're not elected, are they?
No. They're a law enforcement officer, so they're hired.
Well, I see that's dramatic. because there's an unelected bureaucrat as opposed to sheriff is elected. We elected that sheriff to that position.
Correct.
And that warden is simply an unelected bureaucrat
Right.
who has more power.
And you know what it's like to get a warden fired? It's easier to get the governor fired. Yeah, it's actually easier. This is a bureaucracy that is out of control. And it's so bad, it is so bad in the state of Oklahoma. U.S. Law Shield created game warden protection just because of our state. The first offer, that $2 or $3 a month, bargain. That's a bargain, folks. If you hunt, fish, you want that on your U.S. Law Shield added on that. And I'm telling you as a person from experience. Because you might think, you may have a good game warden. That's great. But the thing is, it's just so much in their culture that we have to control you on your property. We're not giving up that power.
Was there an issue if you had your handgun and a flashlight?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, thank you, Tim. That was just 2 years ago. A game warden was teaching a hunter safety course and made the statement that if I see anybody coming out of the field with a flashlight and they've got a pistol, I'm going to write them up for spotlighting. Oh, by the way, he did that in the class of a former legislator who is an attorney. And I get the phone call. I said, he said what? So he wrote it all out. So we made the bill specifically stating that the carry of a firearm, a handgun, firearm for self-defense basically shall not be infringed. And that's even if you're scouting. So we had to clarify that because the game wardens are so aggressive on it. And the warden that brought that up, I know he's been beaten in court because he's been that bad. Yes, sir.
I actually had that incident happen on me. I shot a pig with a bow. Game warden rolled up because I was trying to find the pig. Wanted to write me up for spotlighting us. I shot the pig with a bow. And
a pig. You shoot a 300-pound rat, and he's wanting to write you up.
It was during deer season, and I had my license.
Okay, how big were the antlers on that pig?
I mean, the cutters were 1.5 inches, but
Woo!
the
Woo!
I got out of it was because when I found the pig, I showed him the bloody arrow and showed him where my broadhead went through. So that's the only reason I got out of that ticket.
Well, but here's the deal. Also, had he decided to cite you, you got a $200 or $300 ticket, cost you $1,000 for an attorney. So what do people do? Yeah, they pay it because that's the lesser of the evils there. And meanwhile, they've got something on their record. Exactly. So that's why, like I said, you go out and get the hunter shield on your U.S. Law Shield, folks. You won't regret doing that at all. Yes, ma'am. Does it affect shooting a hog? Shooting hogs from the air is under a completely different section, which it is legal, but it's only during daylight. But that is an interesting sporting idea there. Yes, ma'am.
Question, which I don't know if this really contains, but like, what about if you hunt the hogs with dogs? Like, does that fall anywhere in that bill?
Oklahoma, right now, it is under an executive order by Mary Fallon, who had vetoed the bill, but then she took the exact same thing we requested and put it in the executive order. So anyway, under current Oklahoma law, at nighttime, a person can use night vision goggles, spotlights, moving from a vehicle, and I think there was something else, thermo imaging, to get rid of these terrorists.
So it's like legal to do it. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering.
Now you can't go chasing a deer, which is illegal. And it's a funny thing too. This guy didn't say, "Well, we're worried about our horses and our cattle." I said, "Have you looked through a night vision scope?" He goes, "Well, yeah." I said, "Can you not tell the difference between a horse from a cow, from an armadillo to whatever?" Yeah. So shut up. Jeez. So, and the guy was real nice about it, but I, and I get accused of being too nice, and I'm actually exaggerating now on what took place. But again, and he didn't come up to me like he was going to intimidate me. But do you guys figure out? I kind of know what I'm talking about. I got a stance. It's my property. It's my dirt. Leave me alone. It's not complicated. So like that. Someone else had a question too. I didn't go up. All right. We're going to do this. Could we borrow her to help us pull tickets out?
You want a full ticket?
Make sure everybody has one.
Everybody got a ticket? Everybody got a ticket? What's your name?
Ryland.
I'm sorry?
Ryland.
Ryland? Ryland, guess what I've got here for you? Look here. This is a coin, and it says, "Don't tread on me." You see that? What's that? That's that rattlesnake? You see that rattlesnake?
I love snakes.
You have. Awesome. Now on the back of it, it says the price. It says the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. Okay. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep this, and I want you to show that to your grandkids someday and tell them about some goofy guy that was real hung up on liberty. Okay. All right. Hang on. We're not done. Can you see us okay in here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to want you to pull a ticket out. Oh, hang on. We're going to go for a rifle cleaning kit here. All right. All right. Why don't you pull a ticket? Pull a ticket out for me. All right. All right. Good job. Thank you. Stay right there. Don't move yet. Last 3 digits. You ready? 628. 628. I'm not, okay. Yeah, come on. I got a question for you. You got legislators on your phone? You got your legislators are on your phone? You do? Good job. Come get this. You like snakes. I think that's cool. Do you want to take it to him? Yeah, take that over to him. All right. There you go. All right, man. Hey, when you get good help, you get good help. All right. All right. Let's do one more. Let's see if those poor college students can pull something off. All right, pull that out. All right. Let's see. Okay. Last 3 digits are 619. 619. Up. Look. Man, you win one every time. Is that you? 619? Okay. Can you take it to the gentleman in the back there for me? Here, come around this way. Yeah, come around that way for me, all right? All right, now. Blue shirt, there he is. Okay. It's kind of heavy, Kendall. Woo! Huh. Wow. All right, I need my ticket taker. I need my ticket taker. I got one more for you to pull for me here, honey. You're doing such a good job. Hold it up like that. Like that. Okay, pull one more ticket out for me there, all right, would you? All right.
Guess what I have?
What do you have?
I have a gun.
You have a gun? What kind of gun do you have?
I forget which. I don't remember which one it is.
Okay, does it go bang real loud or just bang?
It goes bang real loud.
Bang real loud. Okay. We know whose house not to go into unannounced. All right. The last 3 digits. Now we've got this gun case. This gun case. Last 3 digits. 639. Connell? Come on up here. Come on up here.
Questions?
Now, hang on. Let me hang on. Here we go. Questions? Oh, you got your legislators on your phone? Look at you! Yeah! All right, yeah. Come around here. Get in front of the camera. Thank you so much. We got it. He's going to come get it. Okay? Thank you so much. You did so good. All right. Yeah. Thank you for your help. All right. Man, you just prepared. Now this guy, he's a patriot. He helps make phone calls, emails. I even seen him show up at the Capitol. In fact, you were sober last time. It was a good day.
And he works on political campaigns too.
And he works on political campaigns. Okay, what do we got? Oh, look at you. You got 2 brand new stickers. And those are some heavy stickers, aren't they? Well, what'd you expect was going to be in there?
Chiseled on stone?
Yeah, chiseled on stone. Thank you very much. Okay, folks, we're about to wrap it down here. So like I say, you can say we've made the request for you to make sure you have your legislators on your phone so you can make phone calls and emails to get things going. Because like I say, I'm sorry? Yeah, and obviously go visit. It's time to go visit. If you've not been to the Capitol, it's time. You think, well, I don't know if I've got time to help a teacher build. Yeah, you do. Make time. You know, we made time to make sure you got constitutional care. We need to make sure these teachers can protect those kids. All right?
How many of them have their legislator numbers or apps?
Yeah, how many people have the app on your phone for your legislators? What is it? It's the OAEC app?
58.
57.
57.
57th OAEC app. Wait, don't shake your head back there. You got a phone? You probably got one that flips open from. Oh, you had the old way? Okay. Yeah. You college, everybody got one of these? All right. Make sure we got these.
They're on the table.
Yep. They're on the table in the back. All right. Now, if you've not signed up for OK2A, Denise, you back there?
Wave your hand.
Denise? Yeah, I'm talking and you're interrupting. So anyway, she's recruited? She's recruited? Okay. Do you have membership forms back there? No? Okay. Well, talk to Denise. Denise is in charge of she's in charge of our sarcasm department. Because we don't have enough. I don't bring enough with me, apparently. Where was the lady? What's your name, ma'am? Yeah, I'm pointing you out. That's right.
Malin.
Malin? Where'd you come in from?
I live in Oklahoma City, but work.
So how was your flight?
Oh.
Okay. Like, not a Tishomingo flight, huh? Okay. Well,
OKC here.
okay, we're glad to have you. But how'd you find out about us?
I've been a member online, like in the Facebook group. For
Good.
about a year now, and then I just joined. She gave me a form last month, and then so I became a member.
Well, yeah, Denise will shake you down. Well, that's good here because, like I said, it's always nice to see new faces. But folks, what we have to work on, we got to work on the most, is getting the youth involved. And that's why I'm also excited to see you guys from Tishomingo show up, because someone's got to pick this sword up and keep carrying it for us at some point. Yeah, that's right. I see you back there. I see the kids back in the corner. That's right. I see the kids back in the corner. But anyway, always good to have. Thank you for helping us pull tickets. Good job. Thank you for helping us pull tickets, okay? You did great. Appreciate that. All right, is there any other questions before we get out of here? Yes, sir.
Do you have any update on that Broken Arrow deal?
The Broken Arrow deal.
Police department.
The Broken Arrow deal is going to be very interesting. I know that Rick Hubbard has acquired an attorney. I don't know for sure who the attorney is. I know he has not been charged. I know they took his guns and have kept his gun. They took his